I've been working on so many urban legends videos for you guys recently, and every single time I think we've peaked, another country surprised me with just how strange and creepy their urban legends are. Today we are visiting Sweden. After this video, you'll be wondering if any other country in Europe can beat it. Let's find out. My name is Danny Berg, and this is the top 10 scary Swedish urban legends. Starting off number 10 now, we have the Silver Train. This is a true ghost train story. Locals call it the Silver Pilen. In Sweden's capital of Stockholm, legend says that passengers waiting on the platform may see a silver train slowly pull up. You must not get on it under any circumstances. The train is heading to an abandoned station in the middle of the woods. Its passengers are said to be the souls of the dead. People who get on will never return. The legend is also connected to the abandoned Kimlinge metro station, which is said to be a ghost station. Locals say that only the dead get off at Kimlinge. Some people even believe the silver train takes people to an underground station with no exit. It never returns to pick them up. At number 9 now, we have the Palace of Skifla. Located in the capital of Stockholm, ghosts have been reported in this palace for well over 200 years. Some of the stories involve people seeing mirrors and windows just shattering for no reason at all, as well as music and songs floating down the corridor with no source in sight. One notable story involves a man called Jacob von Balthasar Niji. Try saying that in a hurry. He was a former owner of the palace who was allegedly a worshipper of Satan. He disappeared one night, and witnesses said he was last seen entering a black carriage being pulled by a coachman with horns and a tail. Had he sold his soul to the devil? Some people certainly think so. This is just the top of the iceberg when it comes to the creepy goings on here. The palace is now owned by Stockholm University, who use it for storage. That's probably for the best. Coming at number 8 now, we have Borgvattnet Vicarage. Borgvattnet is a small village with just 50 residents there, but apparently a lot of ghosts. It's actually said to have the highest number of ghosts per people anywhere in the country. Perhaps the most haunted spot is the old vicarage. Built in 1876, it seemed like a normal building for some 50 years, and then locals began reporting creepy happenings. Ghosts that are not just scary, they're also violent. Some of the ghosts have reportedly knocked people out of chairs, moved furniture around while people are sleeping, or even one case of a ghost throwing babies out of a window. If that sounds like your idea of fun, you can actually book a room there for a night, and breakfast is included if you make it to the morning. Next up at number 7 now, we have Toftaholm Herrgård. Some Swedish people proudly claim this place as the most haunted hotel, not just in Sweden, but in the whole world. Located along the edge of Lake Vikostern, the hotel is picturesque, but comes with a very dark story attached to it. One night, a young man killed himself in one of the hotel's rooms after he was forbidden to marry the daughter of the landowner. He had a secret love affair with her for months, but her father, a very rich baron, refused to give his blessing because he was just a poor commoner. Instead, he married her off to another old baron, not too dissimilar from himself. Heartbroken, he hanged himself from the rafters of what is now room 324. While most visitors do just avoid that room, that hasn't stopped them seeing the ghost of the heartbroken man. He is said to wander through the hotel at night, shutting windows and crying out into the darkness. Coming in at number 6 now, we have Gamla Stan. In 1520, the Danish king Christian II invaded Sweden. 92 members of the Swedish royal family refused to obey the invader, and so Christian sentenced them all to death. All 92 of them were either beheaded or hanged in the main square of the old town of Stockholm known as Gamla Stan. Some people say their blood flowed across the cobblestones for months. In the red building nearby, 92 white stones came to represent the 92 Swedish nobles who died. Now, locals believe that if a single stone is removed, the ghost of one of the dead nobles will rise up and haunt the streets of Stockholm forever. Moving on to number 5 now, we have the Skogsra. In ancient Swedish folklore, the Skogsra are forest spirits. From the front, they look like a beautiful woman, but from the back, they resemble a tree trunk. There are stories of men who were entranced by these spirits without ever seeing their true form from the back. The Skogsra wear the men down over days and weeks, draining them until they are hopeless, playing on their temptations, their fears and fantasies. If they manage to outsmart the spirit, the men will see their true form from behind, and the Skogsra will disappear forever. If they do not, they are carried off into the woods at their weakest, never to be seen again. Next up at number 4 now, we have the Millingar. These are said to be the undead undead corpses of ghosts of infants murdered by their mothers. They haunt the places where they were buried with cries that pierce the night air. Why do they cry? Well, they want you to give them a name. They were often babies that were said to be killed before receiving a name, and now that's all they want. They'll ask you to carry them to hallowed ground to be buried. They then grow in size as you get closer. There have been stories of these undead babies asking people for other tasks on the road at night. If they don't perform the tasks, the person will often return home to find a member of their family has been killed, often in the same theme as the original request. I will go into some of the details I saw, but they really are gruesome. All you guys need to know is that they are zombie babies. Not two words you want to hear together. Coming at number 3 now, we have the Neek. Also known as the Nokken or Niken, this is a mysterious water creature that always crops up in Scandinavian folklore. In Swedish tradition, the Neek lives in freshwater lakes and deep ponds. They are shapeshifters and will often transform into a handsome young man. They then trick women into jumping into the water before drowning them. There are also other versions of the legend that involve him changing into a white horse to let children ride on his back before jumping into his pond to drown them too. Some people believe the only way to save yourself is to throw metal in the water, something like a needle or an iron cross. Next up at number 2 now, we have Stockholm's Royal Palace. As you might expect from a palace, this place is huge. Many of its 1,400 rooms come with some of Sweden's most famous ghost stories. Among them is the White Lady. Her name in real life was Vita Frun. She is said to appear anytime a member of Sweden's royal family dies. King Oscar once wrote that she is tall, wears a long white dress with a white veil and dark gloves. She wanders the rooms and hallways clutching a ring of keys which jangle and echo in the night. In 1971, Princess Eugenie saw the White Lady 3 days before the death of Queen Louise. Over half a century before that, she was also said to appear as Princess Margaret lay dying. Despite not actually being dead yet, a guard saw the White Lady standing on the roof of the palace, keys in hand. 2 hours later, the princess was dead. And finally, number 1 now, we have Svenholm Castle. This is another castle in southern Sweden known for its high concentration of ghosts. Perhaps the most famous is King Frederick II, who is said to wander the halls at night searching for his long-lost love who he never married. Then there are 3 ladies. In previous urban legend videos, you guys may have heard me talk about a castle or a house with the White Lady or the Black Lady or maybe the Grey Lady ghost, things like that. Well, how about all 3 of them? That's right. Visitors to Svenholm Castle have reported 3 separate ghost ladies. Some even say they compete for each other's territory. Another regular on the scene is said to be the Grey Monk, who was murdered in the castle in the 1500s and now occasionally helps staff carry heavy items up the stairs from the cellars. Is that not the most helpful ghost you've ever heard of? I say all ghosts should be put to work. Just kidding. Let them do their thing. Alright, now that the video is done, it's time for some more comments. I'm going to be taking these ones from our scary Irish urban legends video. The first one comes from Knight of Lacon, who says, most amazing top 10, please do Italian urban legends. Yes, that's a very good suggestion. I will add that to our ever-growing list. I was also thinking of doing scary Roman legends. I know the Romans originated in Italy, so hopefully there won't be too much of a crossover. Would you guys also like some more ancient culture scary legend videos? We're going to be doing Viking, Roman, Egyptian. What else would you like to hear? Zarena Angel says, my granddad told me some of these urban legends when I was a kid. I come from Killarney. That is really cool. I wish my grandparents knew scary stories to tell me. Does anybody else have parents or grandparents that do this for them? I think it's really cool because that's how stories used to be passed down, generation to generation, just by word of mouth. These days, not so much. You kind of need to get your legends and myths from some random guy doing top 10 videos on the internet. Not quite as cool, but hey, I still get the job done. Little Weirdo said, okay, a little off topic, but should I watch the Blair Witch Project? This one got a lot of upvotes from you guys, and I'm guessing it's because people think that, yes, they should watch it. I agree, you should watch it if you're old enough and you like horror movies. If you don't like horror movies and you're easily scared, maybe not so much, or maybe watch it with some friends. I have to say, I'm actually not the biggest horror movie fan in the world. I only really watch them occasionally. I couldn't sleep the night after watching the Blair Witch Project for the first time. Now I know there'll be a load of people in the comments section who think I'm being a massive baby and they've seen way scarier movies. Great, you win. I don't care. It's a scary movie for me. The Hamster Army says, imagine if all of these horror stories came true. No, I don't want to imagine that. That sounds really horrible. So far on this channel, I think we've talked about some of the most horrific stories, true or otherwise, that I've ever heard of. I can just about read them. I'm sure you guys can just about watch them, but if they were real, I don't think we'd last too long. Yuki Galaxy Fuji, awesome name, says, let Rebecca host India's video. I presume they're talking about scary Indian urban legends. That's unfortunate because I've actually already filmed the Indian one that is going up soon. It may already be up depending on when you're watching this. The good news is Rebecca will be helping me out with these videos. Landon will too. We've got so many requests for scary urban legends that I'm struggling to stay on top of them all, so they have come to the rescue to help me do them. Uli the One suggests Antarctica urban legends. Okay, now when I first saw this one, I was like, that's a bad idea. That will be impossible to do. It's the only continent with no permanent human settlements on it because most of it is just frozen wasteland. Beautiful, but inhospitable. But then I started thinking, well, maybe there are creepy stories, you know? It's somewhere people have visited a lot before. There are actually abandoned towns where scientists or fishermen used to live. I also bet there are some scary ship stories from that area, so yeah. Thanks for suggesting that because I never would have thought that would be a doable video, and now I think it is. Mike Plays says there is a part of Ireland which has a story. A guy was driving down a street and a lady with a baby walked onto the road and he hit the woman and baby. He got out of his car and there was no woman or baby, but when he got into the car there was the woman on the bonnet of the car and she grabbed her baby and shoved the baby onto the screen of the car. I don't know if I told it correctly, but it's a true story for sure. That sounds pretty horrific. Also, a bonnet is hood. The hood of a car for any North Americans watching. I must say I love hearing you guys share stories. I like how we swap them. I give you guys some stories, you give me some stories. This is how stories are meant to be shared. I was thinking one day I may even ask you guys to put your scariest ever stories in the comments, and then we'll do a special video here on Most Amazing where I read them out in a creepy way. How would you guys like that if we turned your stories into a real video? I think that would be fun. Moving on, Carrie the Hedgehog says, Danny, welcome back everyone. Me, hi husband. Wow. I didn't know I had a wife out there. Hello wife. I'm apparently married to Carrie the Hedgehog. You're a hedgehog though. I'm sorry. It's never going to work. Can you even imagine how spiky our kids would be? I'm sorry. I'm leaving you, Carrie. Next we have Sully1017 who says Derg Du is pronounced Darug Dua, Alp Luatra is pronounced Alp Ukra, and Slough is pronounced Slua. I think I got that right. Only flaws I noticed, but Irish is a notoriously difficult language to pronounce if you haven't studied it, so otherwise an amazing video. Great job. I'm from Ireland and I believe you chose some of the creepiest myths, but there is so much more, so can you please do a second part? What a great comment. Of course we'll do a part 2. Thank you very much, Sully. I really appreciate you helping me with the pronunciations there. I'm sorry for getting them all wrong. I have a lot of family in Ireland who would probably shake their heads if they heard me mess those words up, so thank you. And thanks to all of you for leaving your wonderful comment. Make sure you do exactly the same on this video and in every future video because you could end up being featured in this segment that we're going to be doing at the end of every single video. Otherwise, I hope you're having a nice day. My name is Danny Burke. Thanks for watching guys. I'll see you all in the next video.